We seldom use it.
Okay, so what I think is interactive. Anyone else has used intelligent callers or conversational AI? Okay, so let's then start for everybody to understand it. Take out your phones. Everybody has a phone, I imagine. And look at your keypad. And what I'd like you to do is call 1-800-CHAT-GPT. Anyone that's ever used it before? Raise your hand. Okay, using it on the phone. Right. So Carlos, since you started on 1-800, so what are the digits for everybody to see if we then go ahead and look at the keypad, right? What are the digits? So it's 1-800
242.
242. 2 is what? C. 4 is H.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what is A? 242. And then T is what?
8478.
Okay, 8478. And on the other end of the call, Carlos, what do you think you'll get?
Somebody with a beautiful voice.
Somebody with a beautiful voice telling you what? They want to go on a date with you or what?
What do I want?
What do you want? Okay. So who else that hasn't seen it? What do you think it is? Have you ever heard of ChatGPT? Of course. So basically dial it, and then you can ask about what questions did you want to come into this conversation and learn, Carlos?
I wanted to see it integrated to IoT, visual recognition, so kind of understand that other part that you're presenting as a whole.
Okay. All right. So let's put it on speakerphone and let's see. Raise the volume.
What can I expect from a session where they're gonna tell me about integrating conversational AI calls with IoT visual recognition for custom user experiences?
We should have given you the mic too. Okay. All right, we got the idea. So basically, that is an AI, what we call an intelligent AI caller. That is also what part of our research is incorporated with a vanity phone number. Instead of remembering the digits, we remember 1-800-CHAT-GPT, just like some of you maybe 1-800-FLOWERS, 1-800-mattresses, and basically that vanity number then combines with the brand. And one of the things here is 1-800-CHAT, and that is what? Do you have to pay for that? Does OpenAI pay for that 800 number? Definitely, and an 800 number is what? It's basically toll free. So for every call, they're paying for it. So you can have a regular phone number. Everybody knows if you can call 1-800-FLOWERS, 1-800-mattresses. That is toll free. But there's no LLM attached to it and provisioned with it. But in this case, there's intelligent callers, then you have then that LLM and the prompting. At the University of Miami, I'm a professor there, and what I have my students think about is using AI, right? Their parents, anybody hear about the University of Miami? The University of Miami, besides their football, is very expensive. And their parents are really shivering to think they're going to pay all that money, their lovely daughter or son is not going to have a job. So one of the things that I have them do is they are AI consultants. And in terms of AI consultants, what they are is to a certain sector, and I have them create intelligent callers based on their company. We work with a number of companies, and that's one of the things that I wanted to encourage with you, is we are doing an academia, rather than being in the ivory tower, we work with companies like Twilio. We'll have, hopefully, the city of Coral Gables, their innovation smart city. They are trying to install intelligent AI callers, and we work together with them. That is our goal. And our session agenda, and we're only limited to 45 minutes, is basically looking at those intelligent callers, how they can be incorporated into IoT devices, how they can be incorporated into, now you're seeing the smart glasses. Anybody have any smart glasses? When you think about all the metas and that you can do with calls, getting your information there. So we're working with a number of those sessions. I've talked about it. I also have here Avi Rushnik, who's also professor at the University of Miami. And Avi, you want to just introduce yourself?
Yeah, let me add a couple of things. I'm trying to get the microphone work. This is high tech. I turn it on and the battery is weak, so for a couple, it works for a couple of minutes and then it dies.
Okay.
Anyways, I wanted to add to what she said already. Another very important element of what we are doing, we are reverse engineering algorithms, such as trading commodities, currencies, crypto, and so on. And also Google, so we can top the search engine results page within a few minutes with some keyword. So an example that you can see is, here is an example of a project that the students made. You cannot read it from such a distance, especially with my vision. Some of you that are young can read it. It says wizmore.biz, which is a vanity phone number that spells the telephone number 949, 667, and 3,249. And it is representing a business that is a wizard, like an AI wizard, that will give businesses more businesses. So a chatbot that when you call it will try to help you with your business, and when the chatbot doesn't know how to help you, it will make an audio or video conference. AI caller is a chatbot that can make in and outbound calls and learn from it in real time. So let's say that the caller talks to the chatbot, and the chatbot knows some answers and replies. And when the chatbot doesn't know the answer, the AI tells the caller, listen, I don't know the answer, let me invite an expert. And he has experts in the database, and he's trying to connect, to create an audio or video conference. Another example is 640 called Sam. For my accent, you may not be able to understand what I'm saying, so she can say it again in plain English.
640 call Sam.
So that is another example of a vanity phone number. Unlike 800 ChatGPT, which is a toll-free, this is a local, and this one is a local too. Wiz represents the area code of 949.
Avi, you may want to speak about, since we're limited in time, here on the screen, if you look, I have the principles of IoT visual recognition with security, and that's one of our areas.
Okay, so let's talk about that. First of all, for the city of Coral Gables, what is an example of an IoT? So they have a pole in the center city in Miracle Mile, that is the biggest street in Coral Gables, and we are working with the city of Coral Gables. They will be coming later, and this is an IoT. It is an AI operator that they can give all kinds of information to the city and process information, and they are working also about the customer management system, CRM, because they are in charge of fixing problems. So these are two examples. And another example, when we come to security, the vanity number will be zero trust. So if you took your phone right now and you dialed zero trust, that will be one of our phone numbers that our students will make a project around it, and will work with other businesses. So for example, another one is USA Manuel. Can you repeat it in English?
Yeah, but let me just have you, Avi.
And this is just for nursing. Okay, so when you want to
USA Manuel, for monitoring wellness, we're thinking
when you
well.
want to use a surveillance camera that is connected to an LLM, a vision LLM, and can interpret, like now that they kidnapped this woman's, the journalist's mother. So the surveillance saw it, It didn't do anything in time. By the time that the FBI got it 3 days later, who knows what happened with this poor woman. So unlike that, what we're talking about is real-time communication. As soon as the camera sees something unusual, somebody comes in the middle of the night and starts banging on the everywhere, immediately it will sense it, and the LLM will make an outbound call and outbound message and explain what it sees. So by the time that the guy destroys the camera, the image will be already on the World Wide Web, and we can publish it directly to places like YouTube worldwide and open to the public. So everybody will all of a sudden hear messages like that, and it will be picked up by the news media and so on. And most importantly, we can tap the search engine results page, SERP. So when you type a keyword, like if you took your phone now and you went to the Google search engine, not the Google app, because they have different algorithms, and you type the words "with more biz," you'll see how we tap the search engine results page worldwide. This is one example, but we have done it with hundreds and thousands of keywords, which we rotate like that, and we get the services free from the company. So, for example, Wiz is the host, so they give us free services, free domain names, and everything that we are doing is free, and we have enough tokens for the semester. And after the semester expires, then we turn to the company as our partner, and we tell them, if you want to take over the payment for everything, fine. Otherwise, I want to suspend anything, and we'll return everything to the pool of unused domain names, unused telephone numbers, and the rest.
So what we've done also, instead of using the 1-800, what we do, for instance, 786 is the area code for Miami. So instead of 786 can be run or USA. So in that case, there's no cost to the local number, but we can take advantage, rather than wait 1-800, we can take advantage of those. So that we've looked at the custom toll-free and local numbers for those niche markets that we've done. And we've looked at programs like PickyBot and other ones, and you'll see more and more that they're using visions describing what they see. So instead of just the cameras being dumb cameras, they can basically look at this using AI caller integration and discover those as well.
Another example is Seeing AI. If you go to Google and you type Seeing AI, repeat the word.
Seeing AI.
You'll go to a Microsoft site that is a Vision AI, similar to PickyBot.
PickyBot.
So when you look at your phone on Google and type PickyBot, it will port you to a site, download an app. So if I were to aim my phone at you and I run PickyBot, it will take a snap of a minute, or depending on your subscription, but the free one is a minute, and it will take a video clip. This is video interpretation. Interpret it and tell you, articulate what the camera sees, explain it, write a description in English, and it can use all kinds of models and languages. But this is an example of IoT, and you can place it in a city, for example, in the middle of the city, when people get lost and they want to get some help, for example. So they can talk to the PickyBot, and the PickyBot will write a report in real time what it is, post it on their server, and send you an email. So now it is on the server worldwide, and also on your phone, a copy of that you can process. And you can develop it further to make agents that do all kinds of other things.
Okay. Cool. Do you want to speak on?
Sure.
Do you want to introduce yourself, Karim?
Absolutely. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Karim Shafi. I lead a solutions engineering team at Twilio that focuses primarily on the nonprofit, NGOs, public sector sort of side of the business. Also including higher ed, which is how I know about Connect and so on. So if I was to talk, they asked me to come in to talk kind of a little bit more on the real world sort of application of some of these elements of AI agents and how we develop it, and including with IoT devices. And at the end of what I'm going to talk about is where we've leveraged data from essentially sensors and satellite data from NASA to be able to provide a early response system for Colombia for crisis support and disaster. So we'll go through a little bit of that as we go through.
See? It's gonna be the hardest part, right? Slides.
So before we want to talk about that though, let's talk a little bit about trust, right? Yes, a lot of people have a lot of AI agents out there. How do you trust to make sure that they're making the right calls? How do you make sure that they are responding to customer requests in a way that you can honor the data that's coming through? And some of the things that we've had to look at Twilio as well is really focusing on the idea that an AI bot is really only as relevant as the data that you put into it. You can have the smartest person in the room walk in, and it doesn't really matter if they just walked in, they won't be able to provide you any context or anything until you get to that end state. And so we talk about this idea of, we've talked about this idea of, having generative AI to create actionable results. And so looking at these LLMs, augmenting it with data to be able to do a certain set of actions. All of that happens in real time. Now we're talking about this idea of ambient intelligence, where overall you are still able to provide AI support, but it being so ubiquitous around that you don't really realize that you're talking to an AI model now. I know in certain industries you need to let them know that you're talking to an AI model, but in this scenario, you want to be able to provide that kind of service in a way that is clear and concise, and pulling data from the different sources that you have available.
So do you wanna just elaborate on this ambient intelligence a bit, that a business person could understand?
Yeah. So, so essentially the idea, it's not really a industry term, it's a current term. And really it's focusing on this idea that so in today's world we're using, as you called 1-800-ChatGPT to make a request that you guys just did. Being able to pull contextual data from back-end systems that are currently in disparate models and pulling it together into a single unified profile to be able to extract that information, and with that create actionable and know for a reason why people are calling it. So for example, let's say you have your debit card and you got it stuck inside an ATM machine. When you call in, it immediately already knows one of the reasons why you're calling. Hey, are you calling regarding that ATM card that's been chewed up, right? So providing a level of overarching support beyond just calling in and having a standard, why are you calling today? Having knowledge and context and providing it sort of as a surround when you're speaking to either a customer or also your back-end teams as you have right now for your service. So how do we do that? We built it on customer trust. And one of the other things is to think about is in today's world, when you give an AI model access to data, typically it's a static request. Please have access to this backend system, and everything is available to that backend in order to facilitate that. Now, in the world of AI bots and AI agents, we are seeing a situation where having access to everyone's data at the same time is a security hazard. And so there are authentication protocols that are being put into place where you as a user give access to certain bots access to that data. So rather than giving full access, if you're requesting, for example, a specific health record or a specific prescription, that bot will need to either request it from you or have a certain level of token access for a period of time to that data only. And now therefore isolating vectors of attack and exposure. And so as we talk about the reason why AI is becoming more and more common, is because there's this idea of developing trust. And how do we develop trust? Well, we develop trust with a couple of different ways. Some of the security metrics that we just talked about, having the data around it to make it more personalized, and then having it conversational in that process. And together with all of those sort of three pillars, you can really create a dynamic system that way and make it more conversational and more real. So another thing to keep in mind when we talk about AI is that it isn't an enabler. AI itself is not a strategy. It's an enabler of whatever strategy you are trying to implement within your organizations. I know I'm running out of time here, but one of the things that we want to focus on is, especially in the topic for today, which is IoT devices and so on. Each of these devices may go to their own AI orchestration engine or AI engine to be able to get results, right? And depending on, in today's world, typically you'll have certain models that are good for certain things. Let's say, for example, you use OpenAI for a services request and you use Gemini for a sales request. Having the ability to not have to be locked into one and having all your data set in one is going to be important in the future, because people won't necessarily select a single AI model, right? People are going to use bespoke AI models that are specifically targeted for that use case. And that's becoming more and more common. So for example, we have knowledge-based LLMs that are placed specifically to target and look for and be good for searching for through copious amounts of data to provide an answer, versus an AI model that is meant to provide information on a ticket and has to go into different backend systems to find ticket information, right? The challenge that we're seeing is that if you start with one AI solution, your customer information and your specific company information is locked in there. And so the idea of orchestrating these different models and still having ownership of your own data is going to be really important in the future as you start wanting to get best of breed of these different models together. So we talked a little bit already about customer data, and we talked about this idea of identity, right? So just as a human is authenticating with their social security number, with their driver's license, there will be a time where AI bots will also need to authenticate themselves to get access to that data, right? Because you can have fake AI agents that will pull and do API requests into backend systems to be able to gather information. To be able to authenticate themselves will also be a key component in the future of how we engage and sort of standardize and normalize around having a shared pool of data that is accessible.
So is this what you foresee in the future, or are you seeing people do that now?
No, we're doing that today. Yeah,
And how, so you're doing that today, that your bots then will identify themselves?
Yes. So that is an aspect of one of the areas that we are enabling the bots that we leverage, is to make sure that they are authenticated as well to access that data.
Just like a human would be.
Correct. And so, when we talk about a vision of effective AI, we're talking about contextual data, having the knowledge of who is reaching out and any pertinent information associated with them. Communications channels, so someone could reach out over the phone versus over WhatsApp versus over text versus over email versus push notification. All of these are different ways that people are going to communicate, and you can't dictate who's going to communicate on what channel. So having awareness across all channels is going to be a key part to ensuring that you have context of the person that's reaching out. And so turn that data into context, right? Right now, we see a world where as information is coming in, we store it into specific systems, right? We store it into a CRM, we store it into a backend data structure or a database. We're looking at a world where as people are communicating, all of that information is organically coming in and feeding a model, feeding a profile that can then be accessed and leveraged over time. So let's talk a little bit about this real world example. So we're working with NASA to take satellite information along with sensors that are available on the coastline of Colombia. There's a major flood challenge that happens in that region. And so we collect information, and along with that, we will then, based on as you know, the data comes in, we'll be able to send alert notifications to citizens within those pockets over SMS or whatever channel is their preference to make sure that they get that information and can move to higher ground. And so we're doing that today, you know, as a part, and that's an example of collecting telemetry information from different types of IoT data and collating it together. Now, you can imagine that a challenge with that would be a false alarm, right? God forbid, AI model hallucinates on something to do with crisis relief, right? So what we do is, we talked about a little bit about having that metric of authentication for that AI bot before it goes to do the action. We can also inject that with a human in the loop prior to that information. So it will do the analysis, figure it out, and then say, hey, there is a 60% chance or a 70% chance this isn't a problem. Do we send the message out? And based on various thresholds, you can sort of measure your area of risk and decide accordingly how you would want to engage on that.
So it would be like an Amber Alert, but with AI on the background. When it finds a threshold, it sends the message?
Correct, but again, that threshold can be defined in various steps. So for example, if it's an Amber Alert for a nationwide Amber, right, you don't want to send that to every single phone in the United States immediately. You want someone to check on that first before it gets sent out, versus something that may be local, for example, right? You define what those metrics are, and then based on that, create the initiation.
So, for example, we have the situation at the University of Miami. Let me say a couple of words. That the alert was saying, black guy stole a laptop from a student. He's dangerous and he's armed. Stay away from him and tell us if you see him. So on a huge campus or multiple campuses, every black was suspected, and people started grabbing them, suspecting that they are the thief, you know. So you have to moderate it. And what we are doing, we add to it the element of video, live video, and I have multiple cameras here, including a 360 camera right here and demonstration. So when this is over, I will demonstrate to you how good the LLM vision works. If you are interested in it, you can type on Google LLM vision and you'll see it for yourself. There are a lot of videos on YouTube, and I'll give you a more live demonstration. And here are new guest speakers, and I explain to they're from Coral Gables. They will introduce themselves, and I explain to the audience about AI IoT with what they placed in the center of the Coral Gables. And without losing any time, I'd like to make sure that I don't take any of their times. We'll have a lot more questions and answers at the end of the demonstration. It will just suffice to say that the LLM is a little box that operates like a speaker. Anybody that knows about the Alexa, Echo, and so on, except that it has LLM. So it can listen to live video and explain to you what is in the live video, and you can interact and ask it questions. So we are adding to the alert live streaming video, such as video live stream to YouTube or other video servers that will show the alert. Not only tell you a black guy with a laptop on the UN campus. We're talking about 10,000 people there thinking that their neighbor, he saw some black in the door, maybe he is the guy.
And with that, this is just a diagram that kind of showcases what we're doing here, pulling data from different sources, leveraging a model, and sending notifications accordingly with some human in the loop to make sure that that's complete. Thank you very much for your time. If you have any other questions, I'll be available after the session.
Thanks.
And I told them also about the service and the ticketing, and explained to them that and how it is helping the city of Coral Gables administer the ticketing for IT problems, and they hope later on to develop it and expand it to non-IT departments and so on.
So, as I mentioned before, we have problems with traffic. So I appreciate what I was telling you before is that at the University of Miami, we're trying to do a lot of partnerships, and one of the partnerships we have is with the city of Coral Gables, that it's been an innovator in technology and has been a winner, I guess, of smart cities for mid-size cities. Is that correct, Mark? Small, mid-size. So
Yes,
I
we only
got,
have 50,000 people in the city, so we're considered a small city. We've received, some
Yeah.
awards and acknowledgments for the innovation and the work we're doing with broadening access to technology for residents, and particularly using that technology to extend services more broadly across the city. So one of the two things that we're working with
you
now.
want to introduce yourself?
Mark A. Bear, City of Coral Gables. Javier Fernandez, City of Coral Gables. GIS analyst, I'm the GIS manager there, managing customer support and GIS. GIS, Geographic Information Science, if you're not familiar with what that is, location-based services, where things are, how to access them, how to find them, where they are in relationship to other phenomena in a city. So this little kiosk, lack of a better term, this was our first foray into providing better services to our internal customers, our other staff in the city who rely on technology to do their work, and providing services to residents, citizens, businesses, and visitors, that sort of thing. The idea here was that if somebody needed IT services, typically you would call the help desk would open a ticket, and then we would assign it, and it was a long, lazy business process. So having grown up watching Star Trek, I was motivated to find a better way to communicate with our ITSM, our ITAM, our asset management and service management module. We had just gone to a new system from Fresh Service. So I said, let's create a voice-activated process where an agent, an IT staff, can start a ticket without having to find a keyboard, without having to use a smartphone, can just start talking. And so this kiosk represents the first pass, an emanation of that capability. You walk up to a kiosk like this, or in the future we would install an application on a phone. You simply launch it and start talking. And Javier will demonstrate that more particularly shortly. But meanwhile, the IoT infrastructure of the city has grown, so we now have a number of typically called smart poles, if you will, that do a lot of things. They capture computer vision, they have Wi-Fi, they can extend mesh connectivity from that pole and interconnect with other poles in the city. They have audio, they have video, they can report, so that someone can start talking to the smart pole and say, I need help, and the smart pole will respond. So on the slide, this is previously on the smart city ecosystem. In previous presentations, we spoke about our digital twin, providing IoT data presence, how we use that for zoning and permitting in the city. These are features of the smart city. Go to the next one. And then elsewhere, we have this on the left, you see the Econ Smart Pole. This is a pole that was designed in Israel, created and fabricated in Turkey, and aesthetically designed in Italy. So this is a multi-country creation. The center block is basically just a breakdown of what that pole consisted of at that time, and now has many more modules that you plug into the pole. You can see it's just columnar. And then on the right is a digital representation from a high altitude photogrammetry. It's not photogrammetry because it's not orthogonal, but it's oblique. So we use these to represent the digital twin. And then on the next page, we're looking at this particular kiosk in its execution, its use. The customer approaches it, starts interacting with it, the screen responds, and it talks back while you are logging your ticket. And then the final analysis, the next slide, is what Javier will essentially discuss, which is broadening this voice capability now to a call answering service where you call to the city, to the website, or to the agent that we have, and ask for information about the city. We're still building out the back end of it with regard to how much data is already assembled and compiled. But we've taken and scraped all the data from our website. We're doing that with other city websites, so that when you interact with the agent, you can ask essentially any question with regard to city operations, functions, processes, and it can give you authoritative true information. I'm gonna turn it over to Javier.
So, can you use it? Okay.
Yeah.
So, basically, when we start this project, I start doing GIS without knowing nothing about GIS. I was a software developer, but I got in love with all the job and all the data and all the maps. So we start watching what we had in the city already. We find out that we had a subscription of Azure. So let's start with this. We build the Azure search. So when he mentioned that we scrape all the data from the website, we did it like that, and that was our knowledge base. Then we build the chat trigger locally. We did all the code, and we posted. So we are now able to ask the stuff to the agent and the agent back. That's normal. That's what everybody is doing right now. It was a normal route. So we start. Okay, we want more interaction. We bring the idea of the toll-based agent. So this one was the more easy, the first kiosk. So we put a Signal R
Hello
service.
there. I'm Ida, the tech-savvy assistant where the digital world meets Coral Gables charm. I'd love to get you started on your journey with your full name, a brief description of what's happening, and how I can reach out to support you. Let's tackle this together.
Hi Ida, my name is Javier Fernandez Pupo. My account has been locked. Can you please call me back to 305-690-3910? Processing.
So we will add to the piece
Hello,
event.
Javier Fernandez Pupo. We've identified the incident regarding your account has been locked. Please review the details and make any necessary edits before submitting. We'll be in touch with you at 305-690-3910. The details are Reporter Javier Fernandez Pupo. Subject, account has been locked.
I cancel it because I don't want my coworkers calling me back. So basically, after we got the rack, we saw the powerful of the LLM. We say, okay, we can create intent recognitions in the middle. That LLM will understand what I'm telling to and what I'm asking for. It will identify a problem and it will follow up some steps. In this case, the step will be connecting the system with the fresh service, that is our ticketing service. So that was built, it's good. Now people can get there, talk to the system, and if everybody is occupied at that moment, they can call us back and we can create a ticket. What we just did before coming here, that was the other idea. So we want that in a phone number. We want that some system in a phone number that can answer my questions. It's a wrap. People, I know a lot of people that is not savvy for the technology. It will be using phone.
I'm Coral AI, your virtual assistant. Please note that this is a recorded line. Kindly describe your request and provide your contact information so we can assist you efficiently.
Hi Coral, my name is Javier. I want to know what is the current temperature in the city because I want to go later for a pet-friendly park. Can you also give me a name of a pet-friendly park? Processing.
So just to make sure we're all on the same page, everyone here know what a RAG is, retrieval augmented
Hi,
generation?
Javier.
That
The current temperature in Coral Gables is 72.7 degrees Fahrenheit. Enjoy your time with your pet later.
Thank you. So basically we create those intent recognition. Now we are able to guide the system wherever we find or wherever flow we describe first.
Right, and what's important is that the information that we're giving to these customers is authoritative, that it's coming from City of Coral Gables, and that with later human-in-the-loop interactions, that we can verify that that information is true. So a lot of this will involve business process relationships with various departments to say, this is how the city is representing your department through these interactions. Is it true? Can you verify? Can you help, look at the source information and improve the source information, because we're going to be continually thrashing and raking through, retraining
Retraining.
those RAG systems, and they're gonna come from multiple departments, multiple business processes. So all of them have to have, you know, a level of trust that involves people being able to repeat what they heard and know that what they found out was true.
So
And the piece that we add to this is a vanity number. When you are ready to handle more calls, we don't want to inundate you with a mob hitting you right now, but in the future, give them a phone number that spells Coral Gable or something like that. But you know that will be in the public domain, and once the search engine get the hands of it, it will be all over the place, bombarding you, which we want to make sure that you can handle. So we will wait until you are ready, and then we can add one more piece to that. So the AI caller, let's say 800 Coral Gables or local number 305 or whatever it is, that AI will talk to your AI, and together with the user, we'll have a conference. And maybe sometimes the chatbot doesn't know the answer,
And you'll have a
then
human
we'll
in.
bring in Mark, the expert, and when Mark gives the answer to the caller, it will get into the database, and any subsequent
Correct.
call, it will no longer need to have Mark out of the loop.
That's on the roadmap,
That's
exactly.
on the road.
Actually, one of the stuff that I faced in the first very beginning of the development, I made the rack, I scraped all the events that were in the web page at that moment. When I say, oh, I did this is beautiful, my boss, can you check what I did and say you are amazing? For example, he came and he just tell me about events next week. So he didn't understand what the person said, and I was, oh
It's
God,
all Espanol.
the first testing always fail. So that is when I start researching about intent recognition. So now, if I realize that the person is asking about an event or a next coming event, I don't go to the rack. I say to the system, okay, now the process is going to change. I'm scraping in real time the web page and taking the real events that are scheduling for the next week, and then I'm providing an answer. At the beginning, it was a kind of afraid because it sounds like a lot of time for me, but actually it's quite fast. So.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank everybody, but I want to just open up for a little bit for questions, because we're really out of time. Anybody have any questions to any of these folks? Yes, Carl.
Maintenance of the different components.
And I can have all my speakers
No, but the thing is,
for
with
them.
Twilio,
Yeah.
Twilio will give you a solution, and Twilio is evolving the solution. But when you're constructing, when you're building this with different tools, you need to maintain all the architecture, so.
Just a quick sort of comment on that. So Twilio is a builder friendly company, right? So we focus primarily on providing a series of SDKs and APIs for folks like the city of Coral Gables to go build their solutions. And the thoughtfulness around that is that, you know, the world is moving to this, you know, has moved really to a more remote style way of being. And with that comes with retail, that comes with public sector. And so having a differentiated experience is really key. And so with the ability to sort of design your own way of how you want your citizens to reach out is really it's a choice that we want to make sure that the municipalities or the nonprofits or the retail companies or the, you know, regulated vertical companies and so on, they have their own specific way of wanting to do that, to provide that unique customer experience. And so the goal for us is to make it so that they can focus on the experience and not on the plumbing. So if we were to look at this, for example, you know, Coral Gables doesn't necessarily need to worry about a telecom operator. They could buy the number on Twilio and then initiate the entire process of doing the AI generation or the AI agent generation, right? I think that's the future of how a lot of these experiences are being built, is to sum it up, kind of get rid of the plumbing and give access and ease of ability to create the experiences that they want, which this is an incredible experience.
Any other There was another question?
I have
Any-
a fast one. So
Yeah.
if I encounter an IDA app of my IDA kiosk in the city of Coral Gables, it's routed, depending on my question, it's routed to the city government. For example, I could be walking by and I could see a pothole, and I could say, hey, IDA, there's a pothole on the corner of such and such. Great, I'm gonna route you to Public Works. But I could also, what's the closest Lebanese restaurant to me? In that particular instance, it doesn't route me to government services, it routes me to Yelp or whatever else to give
Correct.
me what's there. Okay.
So that's the idea. Actually, that's one of the requests that we want me to make. Right now, we are refurbishing our digital twin because we want to be powered by AI. Now that we are able to develop with AI, for example, I want to know if you are you open the system. I want to know what is the hurricane shelter more close to me. So the system will need to understand that, and depending on a dictionary that I will be creating of layers of points, that he will take the action and the call of guide me to that one. In this case, for sure, we already have an application to this call 311, right, for requests. So the idea is improve it and to be able people use the application without using the application. Like Mark said, hey Siri, can you report to 311 Coral Gables application that there is a pothole in this corner? For sure, that's one of our goals right now. But we realize that we have the technology right now, the knowledge and the capacity to build it.
So
The
even-
team and the interns.
So just quickly, to piggyback off that, so we also have field staff in the field doing work, and they need to have their work augmented by quick access to good, accurate information. Right now, there is a feature class layer in the GIS that informs them who is responsible for landscaping at different sites around the city, based on covenant agreements, development agreements that are entered into by developers who are building large buildings in the city who wants to see beautification be advanced. So when you're a code enforcement inspector and there's trash in the right of way, you need to understand who you're gonna cite. Is it the city that needs to send staff out there to clean it, or is the landlord of the building supposed to take care of it? That needs to be at people's fingertips. So that information in that feature class can be exposed through the systems that we're building out.
And you want to incorporate then eventually vision?
Everything.
So in vision then can be basically, that was one of the things Coral Gables came up to us, is I was talking to my neighbors, I live in Coral Gables too, and my neighbor said, smart city, let them pick up what's in the corner, everybody's dumping. What do I care about smart city? And one of the then inspectors said, well, why don't we use vision there to help us with what are those places there? And around the time rather, and then there was another one, inspectors. One of the things is with all our issues in the city of Coral Gables is what is it to get a permit, right? How long do I have to do that? And when I speak to the inspectors, there's not even enough inspectors. They say, help me with AI, that I don't have to do all the reports, that the vision when I'm inspecting these buildings, then the cameras can help me do that. So among all of these, what I want to first of all thank this group to join us, and you can see that it takes a team effort. And it really is in the technical side, of the plumbing side, to those guys that, did you start off as an intern?
I start as a customer support,
Customer support.
taking calls and say, no, I need to make my life easier.
Right.
Now I'm not taking the calls anymore, thanks God, but that's the idea, how I can improve my process.
So, and Mark has done a number of visionary things with us and trying to say, how can they implement it and how can they give service to the community? And that's what we do. So I thank them very much. I appreciate your attention. And it was a short time, but we could have done an hour. So feel free to come up and talk to us.
Yeah, I'd
And
like to
we'll
add
put-
another example, and that is the surveillance.
Right.
The city of Coral Gables has mobile surveillance system.
Right.
So they place it in front of the synagogues when they're afraid that terrorists will hit the synagogue. But then when there is a theft in an area, they can move it to the theft area, and it drops the rate of theft tremendously.
We're doing that for people dumping garbage too.
Yeah.
That's right.
We're moving cameras around.
And AI can interpret it in real time and tell you, hey, a dumper is coming and he's dumping. Look at it.
Rather
We've
than
caught some
pass.
people, we've caught some people already.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So this,
So please feel free to come to the front and I will give you a demonstration. We have to pack it up in case there is another seminar coming up.
Are you here for another presentation? Oh, I didn't know there was another presentation.
Time to move on.
Yeah, we gotta move on. I thought we were hugging you. I saw you guys coming in. I apologize.
Yeah, so, to solve the problem now. Actually, what he developed for that interaction with the coral AI,
And that's the thing, right? 'Cause it's so fast.
we already have the data.
No.
Data is-
But I just saw, all these guys who came back and said, I thought kind of very interesting to see us. Just going.
Okay, I'm working, sir. Please let me work quietly.
I thought it made a nice city introduction. Fantastic.
You answer question while I'm working.
This is supposed to be a Android phone.
Thank you.
I think that's
We were working on it.
So that's what it takes to our website.
Got it. You were driving over. So you tried. Oh, let me try from the iPhone from the still water. Still water.
Yeah. So, when did you guys get to be this project?
Well, to be,
Yeah, tell you.
Ask some softballs.
here's the, I'm
I don't know. This is for you, Joe.
Thank you. You're welcome. Appreciate it. You have any questions? I'll be right here.
What are you guys going to be talking about?
We're going to be talking about our system. We're an AI team for a manufacturing company. We're based in Texas.
Where?
Texas.
Where?
In the middle, right between San Antonio and Houston.
Shiner, Texas.
Shiner, Texas.
China. I went to UT Austin.
Oh, you did? Okay, so you know the area. You know Shiner?
No.
It's
I know
about an
yours.
hour. It's an hour and a half southeast of.
I know San Antonio. I know Houston. China. I know.
Yeah.
I used to go to, a friend took us through, what is the prison, is it still going on, the prison rodeo?
Prison rodeo.
Have you ever
We
done
do.
it?
We're involved in rodeos, man. Yeah, prison rodeo.
It was a prison rodeo, yeah, so what are you gonna be doing? So what is it exactly? So you have a lab that does what?
Yeah, so we, Casper Companies, and we'll talk a little bit
Yeah.
about it, but Casper Companies is a.
I'm just trying to get our stuff out of your way, so anyway.
No, but
yeah.
Casper Company is a 128-year-old company. So we've been around for a long time. We
Doing
have
what?
multiple subsidiaries, so we do multiple things. We have a precious metals side of our business where we not only trade precious metals, but also we're the second largest depository in the United States for precious metals. And then also we have a truck bed manufacturing business. We have a outdoors business which works with high-end rifles for boat action rifles. We manufacture all of that as well. And then also we have our latest acquisition was a horse equine business. So
Really?
yeah, so Circle Brands. Yeah, Circle
Guns and
Brands.
horses. Wow.
Guns, horses, gold. Guns, horses, gold.
It's
And
really-
trucks. Yeah, exactly,
That's
exactly.
Texas right there,
So,
guns and
so
horses.
yeah, so with all that, with all those businesses, we were trying to figure out about 18 months ago. Me and the CEO and I'm the COO for Casper Companies. But we were trying to figure out how do we leverage AI. We started working with a consultant trying to figure it out. We got a
Like
small
everybody,
win.
huh?
Yeah, got a small win, but really didn't know where to go still. And so at that point, just really we decided to go after big audacious goals, so a 10x goal, and we decided we're going to create a team that delivers AI solutions for problems we have in our business that actually drive value. And that's what we focused on.
So you're internal,
Internal team, yep.
and then
internal
do you
team.
wanna take this to the external or
Not,
always?
not necessarily.
Okay.
We're here because our whole purpose is improving people's lives, and so we're here just to teach, right?
Oh,
And
okay.
talk and share what we're doing.
Yeah,
We've been very fortunate.
Yeah, everybody's struggling with the same thing.
And so we've built out a system. It's very disciplined. How we manage, how we operate every day, day in and day out, it's very, very disciplined. How we operate with our partner with our subsidiaries as well. Each of those subsidiaries are independent businesses. They got presidents and you know full staffs and team and so forth.
And
So
don't
they make-
each of those businesses have their own programming staff?
No, not all of them do.
Okay.
So depending on the business,
Uh-huh.
so like our precious metals business, so it's so transactional. They do have their own digital products team. Some of the other ones have maybe one person,
Oh,
so it's not necessarily a full team.
So you're gonna be like a service to all of them?
So we are. That's how we're doing it. Yeah. And so the biggest thing though is we're deploying once a week, and so we actually our team got together. It's just crazy. Mauricio was on our. You say you've been here since November, right?
Yeah.
So like you know you're talking about like what 3 months, and we've deployed over 12 projects so far.
Wow.
And
What
and we're seeing-
what project are you most proud of?
Man, that's a good question. I'm curious for you guys. Which one are you most proud of? There's so many of them. All of them are
Yeah.
really cool.
That's a good question. Well, one of the ones I worked on is we have like an internal solution. So it's basically we're building out think about ChatGPT, Claude, and all that stuff, but we're building out essentially our own for our own company that understands our domain, how we operate, our language.
Yeah,
all of
everybody wants to do that.
Yeah. So we're essentially building essentially a model that can interact with all the data from your organization.
That's what everybody wants to do. I wanna use my data, I wanna be
Exactly.
secure, I don't wanna go out.
And that's
on
how
the
we're
web.
doing it. Yeah. Almost all our projects are.
That's
we
what
build-
everybody's doing.
We
That's
build our
kinda
own.
like, that's a common theme.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
so-
at the University of Miami and I'm a professor.
nice.
Plus I work with a number of other groups.
Yeah.
I just did a session, we did it on intelligent AI callers, you know what they are, where you call in a number, you can do inbound and outbound. And then I work with the city of Coral Gables, which is a suburb of Miami, the University of Miami, that I'm an advisor to them. So they were showing how their solutions, they're building solutions for customers using voice. And then I had a guy from Twilio who was talking about what they're thinking about the trust issues. And they wanna be kinda like the plumbing, that those cities and those applications don't have to worry about the plumbing and they can deal with
Yeah.
their.
But again, our key focus is really making sure that we are driving true value to the company. And that's what we're focused on. So we have to start with a real problem.
Yeah.
Where it's at, instead of trying to do AI for AI's sake,
Yeah,
it's
no.
at, what is the real
And you
problem?
have like in your divisions, you have like ambassadors or like guys that are saying, because you don't know all those other, what their issues are for these companies.
So the beauty about it is we have a business system that is lean driven, so we're a lean organization.
Okay.
And so we do about 100 Kaizens a year on things that we need to improve on. So what we're doing is we're leveraging our system and we're saying, okay, what do we need to improve on? In the Kaizen, we're talking about where the AI opportunities to help close the gap.
Okay.
Right? Versus trying to start with the AI project and then move over into trying to figure out the problem.
Yeah, no, of course, you want to solve a problem, you just want to, okay.
And doing it fast, learning quickly,
Uh-huh.
you know, and so forth.
And you guys are learning quickly too as you go along.
Absolutely.
Everybody is.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody is, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, well, interesting. Okay, I don't want to disturb you on
You
it.
know, to answer your question, what we're doing is we're taking projects that hallucinate by nature. That the project is hallucinative and the service is taught. So you can build the
Conversational.
AI conversational with a vanity phone number. So for example, if you took your phone now and you dial USA Manuel, can you repeat it in English so we can understand?
Or have you ever done?
Just repeat the name.
MON
USA Manuel.
Manuel.
Like man like monitor and well like wellness. So when you need monitoring wellness, what target would it be? It would be nurses, people in the medical profession that can talk, for the talk therapy. And as long as the AI can serve them, the AI is collecting the money. So you have to have an industry that is hallucinative in nature and that you cannot prove right away that there are faults. Like if you do math and you tell him 1 + 1, what is it? And they say 3, immediately you know that it doesn't work. But with therapy, if you say I'm crazy and I want to kill everybody, help me, the AI will say, well, this is a dangerous situation, let me get for you a professional psychiatrist that specializes in this kind of situation. Stay on the line, please. And then we have a psychiatrist that specializes in different areas, join an audio or video conference in real time. In this case, maybe get some security too.
That's interesting.
Anyways, the idea is to monetize it and get the service that's hallucinative and makes money from talk.
Okay, Avi, let's clean. I wanna go downstairs.
I'm just going to pack up my stuff. So
No, it's all
just
good.
ignore-
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Okay. Finish up.
I'm working, just give it back to them and don't bother me for a few seconds.
I don't know if you should wait a little longer or start.
We got like 5 minutes and then we'll start, yeah.
And we'll start in a couple minutes.
You wanna help me? Take out the cable. Bring the bags over.
We'll be starting in about 5 minutes here.
What's going on?
You know, I told you I'd see it.
Just do it neatly, don't just make a mess, please.
How did it go?
I think it was very good. We just finished here.
It's good with the coral gables, because it really
Yeah.
has a custom.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
they came just in time.
right.
It's happy. Starting. Yeah, you compete with happy hour.
I know. We said we should have had some
Well, that's why I didn't think anybody was coming. I didn't think they'd put another session in, you know?
right at happy hour.
Right, at happy hour? They crazy. Maybe you'll meet all down there.
No, you can tell them, get the happy stuff and come back.
Right, get the beers and come
Right.
back.
We could have at least had a card up here.
Right. That's real. Competition.
Here, put this inside.
Here, I'll put this in.
Can bring the other two bags over here.
Which other?
The two,
You want to put this in here?
bring them over here, please. Just put them on the table. Flat, not on the wheels. Thank you. There's this and the other one too. I'll put the cables and the...
Put this in here.
No, you mix them up. The brown one is for
For what?
the newer one,
Does it really matter?
it matters, yes. Good.
All right,
This
guys,
is
we're
the
gonna get ready
new
to get
one.
started.
I think this is the new
That's
one.
good.
All right, thank you guys for being here. This session I think is a little different than what you guys have probably experienced so far during the conference. We are going to be talking about, and we're going to just kind of talk about the big idea right off the bat. We're going to be talking about how we are deploying AI solutions weekly and being able to get value as a company out of it. So we are not a MSP, we're not a someone who's looking to try to sell anything. We're just a company that's here, that's learning some things, and we want to share it with other companies out there, other competitors. And so our company is Casper Companies. Casper Companies has actually been around since 128 years. This company is in Shiner, Texas, And if you ever been to Shiner, Texas, it's a town of approximately 2,000 people in Shiner, Texas. And just put it in perspective, Shiner is about an hour and a half from Austin, Houston, and or San Antonio, Texas. And so a very interesting place, a very unique spot. I've been at, my name is Peter Robinson. I'm the COO for Casper Companies. I've been working for Casper 7 years now. And I can tell you, just from personal experience, it is a very uncommon type of company. To be in a small town who is focused on improving people's lives. You see our true north there is all about improving people's lives and being good stewards of the resources that we've been given. And that is so important for us as a company that we rely on that, our leaders rely on that, that's how we operate. A couple other things to call out and note about Casper Companies. We're more of a holding company, 5th generation family, where we have multiple companies within the organization. There's really 4 main platforms. Those 4 platforms has multiple brands underneath. The first one is our precious metals platform. And so we trade metals and we also store metals. We are the 2nd largest depository to store silver in the world. And so Chase is, I think, believe is number 1. And so we have multiple different buildings in Shiner, Texas, where we're storing metals, both silver, gold, platinum, palladium, and so forth. Also, we are in the process actually opening an ETF as well, so we're going into financial markets as well. So it's very interesting. We'll be the first ETF that actually has their metals specifically in the States. And so very interesting company, and we've been very blessed to have it. Secondly, and that company we built, by the way, so we built from within most of our companies we have. The second company I'll talk about, or platform, is our truck bed platform. And so we have a truck bed platform which has bedrock truck beds underneath it. We manufacture and sell flatbeds, as well as we're getting into the storage beds aspect of it as well now. So that'll be another part of our company, another extension. And then we have our Casper Outdoors. So you see Casper Outdoors. Some of these companies that's near Casper Outdoors are brands underneath it, such as Horizon Firearms, Stillers, and also Iota. Casper Outdoors is basically it's a hunting, gun, firearms type of businesses. So, for instance, Iota makes our carbon stocks, high-end bolt action rifles. And our Horizon is the one that actually makes the specific rifles itself. And Stiller makes our action. So Stiller is a company we purchased from Dallas, Dallas area a few years ago. And so again, vertically integrating all the components and parts to make really high-end rifles. And also we have Texas Ammo under there. We're a distributor of ammo as well. And then the last one is our latest one. Is it up there? Yeah, Circle Y. Which now we actually rebranded to Circle Brands. That is a company that we purchased about 2.5 years ago. And that company is the first or the largest Western saddle company in the United States. We not only manufacture those out of Texas, out of Yoakum, Texas, which is near Shiner, but we also manufacture other products that go for horses that goes with the saddles, such as the pads and the bits and things like that for horses. And so very interesting mix of companies. So you think about Texas, what do you think about, right? You think about guns, horses, gold, and so forth like that, right? Trucks. And so that's what we do. And so we have realized with the world and where it's going, being a very entrepreneurial company and also a very innovative company, we realized that we have to figure out this AI problem. And so as we started to look at it about 18 months ago, we decided to hire a consultant, work with consultants, trying to figure out like how can we get it going, establish a platform that we worked off of, and we got some small success out of it. Nothing major, but in 6 months to a year, we really had one good use case that we were like, yeah, it made a difference. But we looked at it and we said, man, like we're moving slow. Like we got to figure out something else. And what does that something else look like for us? So one thing to call out is we started to think about our business system. And our business system is built on lean principles. My background is lean. I've worked at multiple organizations in the leadership capacities, from Amazon, Grainger, United Airlines, and so forth. And lean was one of the biggest drivers in terms of many of the successes I had in my past. So coming into Casper Companies, we've been on our lean journey for about 6-7 years now. And that lean journey has been tremendous throughout our company, because many companies, as you guys probably have heard, really struggle with things like lean. It becomes like the flavor of the month or something like that. It's truly how we drive our company. And so our business system is built on these lean principles, and we said, how do we leverage AI in that way? And this is where it really made the difference for us, is figuring out, what does AI look like? And so the origin for us of AI really came from this, or Kai Labs really came from this idea of lean, and figuring out what does our system need to look like. And in order to really move to the next place of how we approach AI and evolve, we have to look at what was going on in the industry. And so when we looked at some of the things we've learned in the industry, this data was from MIT, I don't know, probably like 6 months ago now. And this data was showing you how, the industry is not really utilizing AI at the level we would expect them to. And really only the large companies, Fortune 500 companies, are really driving AI, and they're not necessarily getting the results you expect from it. This is something that also came from that study. It showed that the failure rate was 95%. So we knew that we had a challenge up our sleeves. Like, how are we going to drive AI, invest in AI, and make sure that we're getting true return on it? We didn't want to go and start to just invest millions of dollars in AI and not getting true returns on it. It makes no sense, especially with all the various different companies we have. But we also don't want to be left behind. So we're trying to figure out how to deal with that dilemma. And the one thing that we really did was look at what were the big problems that were getting in the way. And as you can see below, some of the big reasons for why it was stated in the study is why AI wasn't working. We decided to do our own assessment for our company. And when we did that, there were several things that stood out. The first thing is we realized that our data wasn't good. Like when we looked at AI, like when you start to put data together, it was unreliable. We didn't want to be in a situation where we have hard data and then we're not really getting all the information. And so now people are making decisions on bad information. We didn't want that happening. So we realized we had to do some things in terms of improving our data. The other thing is that we realized that AI is something we're trying to do, but we weren't connecting it with our strategies. So we have various subsidiaries who have these huge strategies that they're going after, and AI is not being connected with it. So we had to step back and say, okay, let's not do AI for AI's sake. How do we need to approach this in terms of making sure it's connected with our strategies? Third is we realized we had a talent shortage. We didn't have the skill set. I was literally spending maybe 30 hours a week learning AI for a period of time just to get my head around it. Like, it was like between podcasts and interviews and going and do conferences, and we've done all that, right? And trying to in books, and we're just trying to get our heads wrapped around it. And so we learned a ton about what AI was doing, but still was trying to figure out how do we make sure we have the expertise in-house to be able to make that happen. Fourth was integration. We realized that, and we've seen this with even other technologies, the integration and getting people to buy into it and adopt it is more critical than anything. I don't care how good the system or tool is. If our team and our people are not adopting it, it's going to be a waste of time. And again, we have a lot of machines in our business, that we're a manufacturing company. And when you add and upgrade to machines and you do things like that, if it's not integrating well with